Hey, yo, James, that was a bar. You're not gonna contribute. You just gonna critique. You a referee. You ain't no player.
Welcome. Welcome to another episode of TuneTheFork, episode 23.
Oh, you brought us in on that Jordan.
Jordan.
Hey, my nigga, we about to run this shit. Wilmington, North Carolina, shout outs. My bad.
Low life.
As you guys can see and hear, we got two undistinguished guests.
Yep, all that.
My homeboy Rodney Buck Herring and Dr. Bee Boisseau.
Where's my camera?
They're all your cameras, brother.
Man, you here, so they all yours.
Yeah,
they just got different people's names on them. So,
okay.
I'm sure some of you will know who they are and some won't, but just wanted to give the fellas a chance to kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself and that sort of thing. So, B, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, my name is Bee Boisseau. I am a native of Richmond, Virginia, the South Side. Also show love to Washington, D.C.
That nigga from Chester.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. We close.
I got jokes. It's just jokes.
I'm a musician, business owner, producer. I produce for people such as Raheem Devine, Eric Roberson, Yazara. Done work with such other musicians as Robert Glasper, et cetera, et cetera.
You that dude.
I'm a low life, just like these guys. Low life.
Hey, that worked out like that, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Low life. We out here.
Go ahead, bro. What's up?
Man, y'all just copying my style, first of all.
Oh, you put your shit on last.
First of all, but I was first.
Anyway.
You ain't been
And
first.
the last shall be first. This how this all works.
Okay, Bible reader.
Bug, man. No,
Ain't
whoa,
never
whoa,
been
whoa.
first.
I read all. I'm just a reader.
Man, who are you, man? Tell them
I'm
niggas
a
who you
reader,
is,
man. I'm Buck. Everybody knows me. I know everybody, and I don't know everybody, and I know everybody. I love you all. I'm an artist here in the Washington, D.C. area, East Coast, United States of America, most of the northern hemisphere, in Africa.
And Africa.
I just threw that in for the shit of it.
I
For
heard
those
you
that
was
want to say
Nigerian.
some
So
get hyped up. But I'm an artist. I'm an artist, and I'm out here just trying to, move the world.
I got you, man. Make something feel good. Somebody. Pause.
Pause.
Yo.
So these are our first guests on the show. As you guys know, y'all watched it, we talked, but just to kind of, set the stage. This TuneTheFork exists really for brothers who are cool and fly like us to have the kind of conversations we have off camera about certain aspects and certain things. And you guys are more than just friends, man, right? Y'all my brothers. So we've had enough conversations. We know, I think, enough about the individuals to know that what we're doing on the back end, without the cameras being on, be some real powerful shit for us as men. Yeah. And it's important for Life and I to make sure that the people who we bring on are just as fly.
Shout out to Life, by the way.
Shout out to Life. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Life, for giving me your spot, nigga.
Yeah, man.
Taking your spot, B. Running your spot, B.
Alpo took it.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta be Alpo.
You Alpo. You got the bucket. You got the bucket. That's why you Alpo.
You put me on the Alpo now, nigga.
You got the bucket on.
Did you see him at first? He was like, come on, man.
You can't do that to me. You can't ever do that to me, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're not doing that.
Safe. Oh, like you said, want some brothers on here who are gonna be flawed, and ready to do work and doing work, and just and can be authentic.
That's hard.
Balance.
That's hard.
Say that again.
That's
flying flawed.
Flying flawed.
That's a balance. Very balanced.
Hey, and that's what the fuck I see when I look in the mirror, bro.
Period.
And whenever I feel one, I understand that the other one's coming. Yeah. And when I'm feeling that one, I understand that the other one's coming. So
balance.
It just depends on what the fuck side of it I'm sitting on that day and developing tools to get it.
But is it fly if it ain't flawed?
No.
Like, let's keep it a band. Like, think about like Rolls Royce is handmade. The things that we love, the things that we call like super fly, like Rolexes and shit like that, it's handmade. So anything that's handmade,
There's gotta be a flaw in there.
there's
somewhere.
room for, you know what I'm saying?
Because men are flawed.
Is it fly if it ain't flawed?
No, it ain't. So see how we just did that? We be in bars with half gallons. Well, my bad. They be in bars. I just be there. You know,
I be in bars, America, with half gallons and broads and these dudes.
I shouldn't
So-
be drinking coffee, but we're doing.
Bro,
Yeah,
you
coffee?
tripping? You've been tripping just period. I hope you can switch it at some point during the podcast because like, when we first came in, dog, you was lamping. But so.
Nah, man, I walked into this space.
Hey, listen,
This
You
space
here
is
now,
heavy,
B.
man.
And shout out
This
to the
space is
brother
heavy, man.
With your bucket.
Watch this. Shout out to the brother for opening his space.
Right.
space-
Hey, yo. Hey,
Y'all, the space is heavy. There's a lot in the space. There's a lot of energy in
You
the
out
space.
here opening your space to men and shit.
There's a lot of energy in the space. And when you walk into the space,
Oh,
it's like,
shit.
even when I walk into the space, I'm like, God damn, yo.
So hold up, man.
relax,
We got to
okay.
stay on track, dog.
gotta
I know
relax,
this
my
is
bad.
hard for y'all.
I just missed y'all. man. I ain't
Missed
seen
you
y'all in
too,
a minute.
brother.
I ain't seen y'all in a minute.
That's a nice dress sneaker, my nigga.
So fly and flawed.
Flying flaw.
Flying
What
flaw.
brought us even to this to even having a conversation? May is Mental Health Month, right? So
It is.
you know, everybody dealing with some level of that. Whatever.
I don't know
word
why
they
I'm
use.
here. Whoa. I shouldn't be here.
So
Okay, go ahead, brother.
we going. This nigga's 4 years old.
Yeah.
So
and a half.
Bear with him.
4, 3, 1.
He has to be reined in.
And a half.
So B sent me a text a week ago and
Oh, yeah.
sent me this article that they did a write-up on him about mental health awareness and some of the things that he had been struggling with and working through. And I've known him enough, and we've had enough conversations about this kind of stuff to know that that's kind of the lane, you know, we in at different times or whatever. But what really struck me in the article was you talking about managing vulnerability. And that shit just really resonated. And what was crazy is when I was reading that, the first thing that came to my mind was, it was a picture of a soldier putting on a suit of arms, a coat of arms. And the armor was actually authenticity. Because for me, I equate authenticity and vulnerability is kind of like the same thing, because in order for you to be authentic, you've got to open yourself in a way that doesn't necessarily prevent other things from coming in, because once it's really open, it's really open. And so, give me 1 second. So I wanted to talk to y'all as artists about the concept of the value and the benefit of being an authentic motherfucker, but understanding that when you are wearing that shield, there's still these things, because there's room for shit to get in, like doubt, like insecurity. And there's a psychologist that I follow, his name is Gabor Mate, and I'm setting this shit up, and then his name is Gabor Mate. And he talks about the human need to be authentic. That we have we're designed to seek, how do I place it? We require authenticity and connection. And people are spending a lot of time negotiating between the two. So a certain level of authenticity might challenge your connection, because if you really true and connected to your shit, you probably gonna reduce the number of connections that you have, right? And so, as artists with the connection and with the authenticity and the struggle between that, I just wanted to talk to, at least open it up to find out how artists kind of manage the need to be authentic through their work, and then the need to connect.
You mind if I lead off?
Sure.
Thanks. You want to hold my crystal?
No.
So, right off the bat, I want to say, first of all, I like that analogy with the armor, because through therapy, one of the things I've learned through therapy, they use toolbox. And so the thing about armor, right, is armor isn't one piece. It's not like, it's pieces that you put together. And so armor changes.
I like that.
So there's levels of vulnerability. As I put on more armor, I'm less vulnerable. As my armor gets thicker, or as I can afford better armor, I'm less vulnerable. Okay, so what am I saying, right? As I get more tools in my toolbox, I'm less vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? I'm equating the armor because I love that analogy. Now I fucking love that. The armor is the toolbox. I'm using the toolbox because that's what I got from therapy. Gotcha. And what I mean by toolbox is, so if I have only a screwdriver, I can screw in some screws, but once I come into contact with a nail, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
I need a hammer. So what I'm saying is, as far as the toolbox, when I come into contact with a failure in this area of my life, yeah, I may know how to handle it, but what about when it happens in this area of my life? Or what about these sort of things? So the vulnerability as an artist, it changes or even lessens as you gain tools in the toolbox or as you gain armor. But it takes the courage of first stepping out with the armor you have, if that makes sense. Like, I know I'm out here with my arm unprotected, but I gotta go because the going is gonna gain me whatever I need to purchase a fucking arm.
That's just hard.
An arm protector. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Go.
You
no
gotta go because the going, like, so let's take it back to armor. Let's take it back to middle ages time and shit, right? So how did you get armor? You had to pay for it, right? How did you pay for it? Fighting or whatever the fuck you did. So I gotta do it with the armor that I got right now so I can get more armor.
And the doing is the fighting.
The doing is the fighting. So yeah, I'm fighting. I'm vulnerable as fuck because my arm is uncovered, but I gotta fight this fight in order to buy the armor to cover my arm. So that the next time I can fight, I can buy the armor for my neck. You understand what I'm saying? Until finally, or hopefully, finally I'm fully armored, and then it's like, fuck you, I'm out here armored.
And what if that helmet that's really blocking, when you wear that armor, is blocking mental darts that motherfuckers be?
Well, of course it is.
1 second, I'm gonna.
Shit they do.
God bless you.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna take it in for a minute, but I will say this, almost like synchronicity type shit is. I was just laying around yesterday, I took a little break, took some time off, got me some rest. Get me some rest, get some good rest, good amount of sleep.
Nice.
Because I don't really sleep like that. So I was making sure I got some good naps. And I ain't had a good nap, and I used to nap all the time. Right? But yesterday,
man, fucking raving about nap.
Listen.
I'm sorry.
Did you have applesauce when you woke up?
He happy.
The nap was good because I don't even nap. Yeah, I don't nap. It's hard for me to nap. It's hard for me to even nap anymore. But I was watching Manchurian Candidate with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that's my shit.
And it's like, first I was wilded out by the whole cast, like Mackie, what's your man?
It's his birthday today.
What's the other black dude that played Basquiat in the one movie?
Anderson or something.
Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Yeah, whatever. I can't. My bad. Not whatever, but Jeffrey. But Leave. I can't think of these cats' names.
Schreiber.
Leave Schreiber. Yeah, it was all these cats in this movie, right? It's like, wow, all these cats in this movie. And I'm peeping the fact that this movie is like, it's really about. So Denzel is really. He's everybody's conscience, and he was their leader, but he's their conscience, and he's a soldier. And he's also extremely. He's the one that's become most vulnerable, because somehow he's been able to balance these things. He knows that as their leader, as being their conscience, and being the leader of this, I don't know if it's platoon, this squad that got fucked up in the head, and some got killed, another went crazy, He knows that he has to unravel this problem. And so in order to do that, he becomes more and more vulnerable. So you see him, he starts out, he's got his uniform on. He's speaking in front of these kids, telling them about how, well, the very beginning of the movie, he's like, yeah. You see him, he's like the soldier, and he's like, this is gonna be a tough mission. He's talking to a CIA agent. And they're talking about how tough this is gonna be. He's like, oh, it looks like it's all bad, but we gonna do it. We gonna do what we gotta do. You see whatever goes wrong, but then you see him on stage, and he's got his uniform on, and he's tightly wound, and he's got his uniform on. He's telling these Boy Scouts what you gotta do to get the Medal of Honor, and why. This other guy got the Medal of Honor, and basically he probably should have got the Medal of Honor, but because of the way it all worked out and the way they manipulated things, he didn't get it. But anyway, so you see this whole thing, but in order for him to get to a certain place, he had to become more vulnerable. So like he's literally going crazy. Looks like he's crazy. Everybody's telling him he's crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's doing crazy stuff. The black woman sits with him. We come to find out she's an agent. She's in a shadow unit. But she's looking out for him, and she's like rubbing him on his back. He's like, no, don't touch me, don't touch me. But he's almost at his most vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? But it's this whole thing of like, I don't know if it's. So I'm going to disagree with you. We're going to argue. This is good. It's all good. Me. I like the dialogue. You know me. I like the dialogue. It's what I do. But my thing is more or less, you at your most vulnerable is you're at your strongest, right? So when you've lost all your armor and you've got nothing but yourself to either succeed or fail, that's what it is. That's that state of I don't know what the word is right now. I'm sorry.
So could we replace the word? Is vulnerability and authenticity synonymous?
No.
Y'all said it pretty fast.
No, actually, I'm actually gonna disagree with myself. I'm gonna say yes. The more vulnerable you are, the more authentic you are.
Because I'm sitting there looking at, as you imagine taking off the clothes. I'm imagining seeing a baby. That's probably the most authentic, and no clothes, no nothing, just the thing. Is that?
But
and there are varying degrees,
I push back against that because, and respectfully, I would say a baby's a bad example because a baby is so many other variables of what a baby cannot do. So the reason I say no, though, is because when you're at your most authentic, there are no vulnerabilities. What are you vulnerable to?
Hold on. Most vulnerable state.
No, hold on. No, there are no vulnerability is a mind state. So what I'm saying when I speak of armor and when I speak of these fights, right? I'm speaking of the experience. So for instance, let me make it more personal. As a musician, I never performed in front of 1,000 people until I did. Okay, and before I did, I'm scared as shit to do that, right? But I do that. That's me purchasing the armor for, that fear, that level of vulnerability. And then it gets to 10,000 or however, whatever. That's a rough example, but my point is, once you're your authentic self, it doesn't matter how many people are in front of you. You don't give a shit.
How do you? What's your definition? Give me an example of what vulnerable is then in your mind, in your personal life.
For me, and this is just to generalize it.
Yeah.
Vulnerability for me is when anything outside of me has the ability to affect me. I'm vulnerable to it. And I'll use the armor again. It's when the bullet, the arrow, whatever the fuck, has the ability to actually touch me. That means I'm vulnerable.
So some of the stuff, can you pick what comes through? Because in my mind, just even the opening, if I open that door, right, I'm going to get nice breeze, I'm going to get the sun, I'm going to get some other shit, right? But I also could get a nigga coming through that motherfucker trying to air the spot out, right?
Okay.
So by default, having the door open makes me vulnerable.
And that's why I said no. Watch this. So if you're, great. So the vulnerability, when we say I'm gonna be vulnerable, to me, what I translate to that to mean I'm being transparent. So yes, I'm gonna let the sunlight in. I'm gonna let it in. I'm only vulnerable when I fear the consequence or I fear the result of it coming in. You see what I'm saying? When I'm my authentic self, and I know that me sharing with you my deepest, darkest, and this is something I haven't obtained. This is something I'm reaching for. But when you're your most authentic self, I don't give a shit. Come on in, my nigga. I'm gonna beat your ass when you get here.
I think
you understand what I'm saying? You're not fearful of what might come in.
I think
so. You open.
You don't have to be fearful though. You can just be mindful. I think you're equating something negative about the.
No, not
right,
negative.
That's what I was about to say. I think we have to clarify the definition of vulnerability.
Yeah.
And because I think if we look at it as a negative.
But I only responded to that because you said open it up to a nigga coming in. I'm saying,
but if we look at vulnerability as a negative, then everything that we speak on is from a negative perspective or perception, whatever. I think it's just how you look at. Like I think so. If you look at Japanese, samurais, Japanese samurais.
You about to do what?
I'm about to cut y'all. Go ahead and finish.
Why you about to cut?
I'm about to give y'all a prime example on how we all tripping.
Can I give a prime example?
I want him to finish. He getting ready to talk about some bullshit.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm not going to talk about bullshit. I'm just about to break this.
Don't act like you ain't been known to talk about bullshit, but go ahead. I ain't going to say that you ain't doing.
I talk about bullshit because talking about bullshit is fun with people when you bullshitting. It has a purpose.
Fair enough.
Bullshit has a purpose with bullshitting and bullshitters.
Fair enough.
But if we're talking about Japanese
samurais,
the whole thing was that they were supposed to learn all these other things. So poetry, pottery making, the tea ceremony, all this shit that's like in Western culture, it might be like Western culture would be like, man, that's some punk ass shit you doing right there. You need to learn about fucking tea ceremonies, which is some real delicate shit in writing, calligraphy, and all this other shit. But these are other things that to some may seem to be a vulnerable place, but to them it's like I'm going to expose myself to all these things. All these vulnerability, all these other things that somebody else may look at as a vulnerability and say that this is also me. So when they do that, then you have to look at it like, okay, like that's also part of their suit of armor. You know what I'm saying? Like I am exposed, so therefore I am. So the more human you make yourself, the further you can expand.
The more.
So one question. All right, a lion, for example, lives out in the wherever, exposed to
the elements,
mosquitoes,
right,
ticks. So exposed to, would you say that a lion is vulnerable?
Yeah,
extremely.
Okay.
I think any.
Okay. So I'm asking for clarity on levels of vulnerability.
And I think it's the negative connotation. The negative.
No, let me be specific. Vulnerable to mosquitoes. That's what I'm trying to say. Even though it's out there exposed to mosquitoes, would you say a lion is vulnerable to mosquitoes?
Yes.
Yeah, there's definite risk.
Okay.
There's always a risk.
So you don't mitigate the level of the risk as long as the risk is apparent. That's vulnerable.
And so when we're being
got it. Okay.
Let's say.
Then I agree.
One of the things I love about y'all brothers' work is that y'all are some extremely authentic motherfuckers, and I know y'all individually, and there is a level. I see it in y'all because I see it's like a reflection. I see it in myself. Nigga, we struggle with this authenticity shit. And this because of, and I'm not saying we struggle with it in a way that is debilitating or that it keeps us from doing shit.
At times though it is though.
But
at times. I'm gonna speak for myself.
Right.
I'm not gonna speak for my brothers.
So
there's never been a time you just didn't. I'm asking. I'm not judging.
I'm still listening.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Never time, but never what?
I was just curious. Has Buck, has there ever been a time as an artist where your struggles in your mental state have ever just caused you not to be able to find the creativity of art?
Oh, that's a tough. Can we finish that question? Can you finish your statement?
I'm only asking because my answer would be yes, and I'm just curious to know if that's the same for my brothers.
I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has for me also. I just don't know where to place that at yet. So I'm like, I want to hear what he had to say, and then I was going.
My bad.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, so there are two things, bro. There's authenticity that I connect with and rock with y'all heavy in y'all work. And it's also, you guys, there's a relationship to balance that I think plays a part in it too. We know that there's something in us, bro, that says, go do that fucking shit. And
For sure.
some of the shit that we're being asked to do is counter to all of the shit that's around us.
Most of it.
And so to actually tap in to our authentic selves, to feel the shit that we need to feel in order to create that, sometimes we do that and we it's like putting something out and then you look back and then you want to see some shit and be like, okay, like that shit, I don't think we can give off the type of love and connect with our work in the way that we do or we would like to if we're not being vulnerable.
Right.
Because a lot of the emotional shit that we use to create that came from a negative place.
True. I guess what I'm saying when I say from earlier, it becomes, I think, decreasing levels of risk and vulnerability. Yes, a lion is vulnerable to a mosquito, but that level of risk is low. So you don't.
Depending on environment.
But I mean, but no, I'm talking about depending on the things present. Like it's a mosquito.
But if it's 100 trillion mosquitoes, that's different to it just being one.
Yeah, but right now for this thing,
If the
I'm
lion
talking.
stumbles into a marsh,
You niggas.
I mean,
okay, horrible, bad example, motherfuckers.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Y'all
always,
niggas know what I'm saying, man.
We know what you're saying, but what I say to
That,
this,
that was a bad example. So what I'm saying is
I
like,
say to this is like
you get over
we're-
certain levels of vulnerability. Like there are certain things that I could look back on that I was vulnerable. And again, I define my levels of vulnerability as what the outside things are able to affect me. Because, you know what I mean? Because there is another level, a deeper level of vulnerability that just you in the mirror. There's a, you know what I mean? But right now, I'm talking about, when I talk about armor.
And thank you for bringing that back.
I was gonna fuck with you and be like, we need to define authenticity also.
Way. So, because you mentioned managing vulnerability in the piece, right?
Right.
What does that look like for you?
It's funny you asked. Just recently, man, a friend of mine an artist friend of mine, Eric Roberson, said to me these words that I've been messing with me since he said it. Peace is really just clarity. So for me, I've been escaping and well, let me back up. Peace is clarity in that, you know, some of us, we view peace as, you know, being in the fat crib with the plush couch and the, you know what I mean, the car outside and the kids doing good in school and the fat bank account, when really peace is just clarity. And we were talking about the movie, the Avengers. What was the first? Not the one where Thanos won. Endgame.
No,
that's Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Endgame is the other one. You're right. Infinity War. So he asked this question. He was like, you know, you realize Thanos was the only character in that entire movie that had peace. The Hulk fired off on him. He let the Hulk get his shit off. Then he just calmly whooped the Hulk's ass. Like he chasing after the same Infinity Stones that everybody losing their mind trying to find, but he is calm. Why? Because he had clarity.
Well,
His vision was defined.
He had a focus.
Focus, but what is focus? Clarity.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm saying that to say the more clarity you have, the more authenticity you have, and the more authenticity you can distribute because your vulnerabilities are less.
But that doesn't mean you will.
So
now you're talking, because then we goes back to what I was saying earlier, like what I was kind of alluded to, like that's the outside influence level of vulnerability. But there's a whole deeper level where you just got to be okay with yourself. My bad, I ain't even going on a tangent.
No. I'm asking you. I'm challenging this portion of what I asked because I think I'd like to see it in my mind. I'd like to see you describe it. How does that show? How do you manage vulnerability when you're talking about getting clarity? Like, what does that? Can you walk me through like a mental process?
Yes.
Because you know we picture painters.
So yes. We all are. So Pete.
Literally
And figuratively and all that. All the lees. Ugly. See what I did there?
Pretty.
My bad. So boom. So it's all about the clarity. Let's start there. Clarity about what? Clarity about who I am, because at the end of the day, that's who I live with the most. That's who I'm gonna die with. I'll speak for myself. Some of my issues have stemmed from that lack of clarity on that level.
As a person.
As an artist, as an individual, as a self. You understand what I'm saying? As a self-aware being, I was unclear, lack of clarity of what does that really mean? You know, because there's so many dictators and outliers on what that should be based on where you're from, who you're born to, your financial status, your educational status, and you start to buy into these things.
Yeah.
But as what we were talking about earlier, as a duality, you start to encounter contradictions. Yo, I am this and I am that, but I don't really feel comfortable in either world. So you start to struggle with identity, lack of clarity. You understand what I'm saying?
Lack of authenticity.
And there you go. So you find yourself doing this because you can. You have you can do it, but that ain't who you are. But you don't know that because you've never sought clarity. You sought accomplishment, you sought validation, you sought whatever, but I never sought clarity. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, I could never have peace because I'm always going to be struggling for and reaching for. But once you get clarity about who you are, you don't need to reach for that.
You don't need to reach for it,
because that's who you are.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. And one of the things I like about what you do, bro, you good on that gray shit. You good on it. You good on it. And some of the times, I remember times, bro, when I was just whooping the fuck out of myself, bro. And he would come by and be like, yo, man, what you doing? Don't beat yourself up like that. Fuck that.
Hey, man, grace is time.
Yeah, you human.
That's just...
I'm saying that to tie that back to something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just take the goddamn compliment, man. You about to do some more other shit.
I wasn't about to do
You was. I saw you.
I was speaking to it for what it is.
No,
man.
that's a compliment. So
I'll take it as a compliment. I'll thank you for the compliment. But I wasn't taking it as a compliment. I was just taking it as like
I'm saying you helped me, motherfucker. That's a compliment.
Head ass.
Listen to this
I don't
dude.
even know how to.
I'm just gassing.
I appreciate
You're welcome, man.
You're welcome. I've never had this.
Say you welcome though.
Yo, you welcome. You're welcome.
Head ass.
A part of the authenticity, extending that grace to that negative side that you were talking about, reaching, because you reaching for something as if it ain't there. Accepting that other side, that grace piece means you're there. You're in the center of where you're supposed to be. And so when you say, because I asked you about managing your vulnerabilities, which I like the way that there's just, it paints a picture. I'm hearing you say you go in, you look at that duality, what are you, Bee Boisseau? You look at Bee Boisseau.
Hey, yo. Who?
You look at Bee Boisseau, and you be like, oh, okay, I see you. You actually make this shit right. So ain't no need to reach for nowhere. Right. So that's how you manage your vulnerabilities by reminding yourself of the fact that you don't have to reach.
Well, I like reminding because yes, but it goes back to my original analogy. I'm buying pieces of armor in doing so. Now here's the thing: I have to keep doing it because, like I said, you will never build enough experience currency, if you will, to buy all the armor at once. You won't.
Yeah, but that's why I have to keep pushing back on this shit, man. Like I get what I get what you're saying, but also what you're saying is you're creating an additional dynamic in which you have to continually try to accumulate something instead of relying on yourself and being able to find space within yourself and within an inability to find freedom within yourself. Yes. And to get to a point where you are fine with what you are and what you are as human.
Yes.
So if you're continually if you're saying that you're buying armor, you're trying to accumulate these things, these outside.
I see what he's saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I understand what you're saying.
So, but the thing is,
The outside thing is experience, and that is outside. You
So
can't
that's
have
what you're buying.
The experience is the currency more so than buying it. Like you can't access the armor. It's more like a game, like you unlocking it than buying it. You have to go through the experience to attain this armor. I don't like. I get where the disconnect is.
So it's not, I think I know what you're
because the
you're
value
saying you
is,
don't have to experience it.
No, I'm saying that through the experiences you understand the vulnerability is a part of it, and it's okay. Like let's say Jesus and Buddha, like they went on these journeys, right? They went on these extensive journeys, and they learned from those around them, and they learned all these different things. And it's not get to be religious or anything, but these two men took these long journeys to find themselves, to be more comfortable with themselves, to be themselves. And in that, and not just to be more comfortable with themselves, because they were trying to find something, right? They were trying to find something more. But in finding something more, they found that in order to find something more, they had to let go of the things that they thought were necessary for them to get to a certain place. You know what I'm saying? So it's all,
I see what you're saying.
So it's like, how do you find peace? Like, if the man that's most scared in battle is usually the man that's most accomplished. It's usually the most accomplished soldier, and that's the piece where it's like there's nothing wrong with being scared. You know what I'm saying?
You move the goalpost slightly. Huh? You move the goalpost slightly because fear is not mutual. Fear is independent of either one of the things we're talking about.
Well, what I'm saying is,
because you can be.
It's a valid point.
Yeah, I get what you're
fear
saying.
Exists.
I get what you're saying. What I'm saying. What I'm saying.
Fear, right?
What I'm saying is what I'm saying is, like, the more vulnerable you are, the more human you are, the more you can be any of the things that you want to be.
And that's authentic.
Right.
But here's the thing, you know what?
That's true authenticity, but in order to get there, you have to remove the veil of what it. You have to let go. You have to let go of the idea that you know what it is to be.
So it wasn't a Freudian slip, though. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I got to push back on that piece because I got to give you what you give me, dog. You ain't got to let go of it. Like in the way that you say, like you got to embrace it. Like that other side of it. And this is a part of you. The fight is an illusion. Like
and let go is the. Let go is the wrong word. Let go. When I say let go, it's not like I'm not saying. I'm not saying it's an action. I'm not saying it's an action like you're attempting to let go of it. Like you're like, no, I've got to get rid of this.
Okay.
I'm saying you let go of it. I'm saying as you walk, if you shed clothing, because you shed clothing because it was necessary. It's not because
it's just a part of walking.
It's part of walking. It's part of you on your journey, in your meditation or whatever. You can, as you continue to move,
But one key thing though, one key thing, and this is the reason I push back. One key thing, and this is the word I pushed back on just a second ago, is the word fear. There's only two energies, love and fear. It's when you attach, for whatever reasons, be it a rational reason or irrational reason, once you attach fear to vulnerability, that's, I think, our disconnect in what I'm saying. Like, so wait, let me finish.
No, it doesn't.
So it doesn't.
I was using that as an example. I was using fear as an example.
No. I'm not judging or saying anything about what you're saying, but through you saying that, I'm seeing the disconnect. So when I'm saying vulnerability, I'm actually saying, should a lion fear so what I'm saying is I shared the levels of fear.
But
so
I think a lion should actually fear the mosquito.
Shut the hell up with your lions, man. You goofy.
Who caught up lions?
I did.
Don't ever do that again.
That was his fault.
No, it's your fault for even injecting it into it.
You don't like lions?
Bro,
Niggas don't like lions?
I don't like hearing it though.
And now you just being light.
I don't like hearing that.
Now you just
that's just the most awesome shit ever. I just don't like hearing it.
So what about tigers?
I'm sorry, Mr. Boisseau.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr.
But no, bro.
But I think.
No, so what I'm saying is,
Go ahead, brother.
Yes, he is vulnerable to me or open to, but when I say like I'm building armor, my fear or the attachment to the fear of that vulnerability lessens. So then I become my most vulnerable, my most authentic self, which again, I agree with Buck. Because as I shed the fear, I can become my own. And now, even though I'm vulnerable, the fear is gone.
Dog, you know what's hard?
So yeah, I agree. I agree.
You know
with
what's
you.
hard?
I'm sorry.
Thanks, man.
Actually, I agree
You
with him.
can
not
do
you.
that just by choosing, and that's the gold-blooded shit. So,
And that's where I push back there because it goes back to what I was saying to him. Experience is the currency.
experience.
Because you can't just snap your finger and do it.
Everything is, so let's, okay.
Experience and
Is
explore.
it courage if you don't do it, if you're afraid when you do it?
It's not an experience.
You have to be afraid,
it's
right?
a reminder of the experience.
No,
We
I
all,
disagree.
everything ain't nothing new under the sun,
I
bro.
disagree.
Everything that you need is built inside you. It's just you. It's
James,
just what parts of it we
I disagree.
unlock.
You know why these little niggas shooting each other? Because they scared to fight. You know why they scared to fight? Because they haven't fought. You know when I lost the fear of fighting? Once I fought. Certain things you can't get through unless you go through. I could tell you about fighting. I could tell you all how until you get hit in the fucking face.
I'm not saying that the only way you can't be reminded of being shot is by being shot.
That's a crazy example, bro. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
I just be listening to that. I'm
you
doing
say
I'm doing a lot of listening today. I'm listening.
you know what I mean?
Hey, shout out like B gets the Slight Award. He the first one who brought up my wonderful skin tone.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm generally the lightest one in the crew, right? And so,
That's my dude.
like, you see these guys, you see they paint job. So,
yo.
Pause, nigga.
Yo.
paint job. This is my
Yo,
paint
what's up
job.
with your mans over there?
What's this nigga's
Light
mouth?
skin shit out his mouth.
Wow,
Light skin
this nigga
shit.
still here shooting threes and shit, man. What the
man.
fuck is going on,
Ain't
man?
nothing but net, dog.
Diaspora.
Nothing but net.
Diaspora.
Do you mind if I get up and get some coffee while we?
Go ahead, bro.
Can I have some coffee? You didn't offer nobody no
Yeah,
coffee.
for
You
nobody
heathen.
no
You
coffee.
like some
So
coffee?
I would love
to,
some coffee.
to talk
bro.
while you can still, I mean,
Okay,
Yeah,
your
right.
mic is hot.
So
Yeah.
I like how you did that.
from an artist, for me, so I'll use the DJ and shit as an analogy, right?
That's an artist. For sure.
I
Good DJs.
have had to push and fight for what I felt my truth was
All my life.
when it comes to this DJ and shit. And
explain that, because that's general. Tell me what you mean by
that's
that.
a good point. I love music, bro, and I love all types of music. And
shows
I
in
want
your
to
sets.
express that in my sets.
Got you.
I like to take people on a musical journey.
You see that as
Take a little
vulnerability?
trip through your
So,
mind.
dude, DJing, other than this podcast, is probably the most vulnerable thing I have ever done. Every time, no matter what, DJing, I struggle with so much motherfucking doubt, bro. And a lot of times, I got to get into the zone of doing the thing to build the confidence to be okay with
You
doing
need
it.
soy milk?
So
I mean, I got almond
a
milk.
lot of times, and it's a good example for life for me. Like, do this thing that you don't want to do, that feels uncomfortable, and then figure out through doing it how to be okay with it.
Right.
And DJing is a lot for me because I might feel a certain way, man. I'll be anxious. I'm shaking sometimes, and I know that there's something in between that and through the process.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Is that because of the actual act of DJing or the act of DJing in a different way? Like is the way you, for instance, do you do it so different that you think people may not see it the way everybody else
I feel
would?
like I do. So
Okay.
I be trying to set vibe, and this is like if I'm doing a drink with friends. It's not like I did play Blood on the Leaves at one of his parties. That shit rocked too.
Nina Simone?
Yeah, and but for me mainly it's the musical selection.
Yo, didn't you and Biggs DJ my birthday? It was you and who?
Strange Fruit.
It was you and who for my birthday?
Nah, it wasn't me.
What
Oh
year
yeah,
was
it was because you.
I had
Yeah.
my, had the,
So
that shit was hilarious.
my music is me. Like so when I'm playing music, to me that's me singing the
Being
music.
an artist, yeah.
That's me
Right.
playing like that's what I feel
Yeah, your sets
I
are very
am. Like
cohesive.
this
That
is
makes
me.
sense.
It's
That
the
makes
most
sense.
vulnerable part of me.
That
And
makes
I am
sense.
extremely
makes sense.
uncomfortable when I'm doing it because it's
That
like,
makes sense.
you know, when I play this song at this particular time, it's how I feel.
Yeah.
So if I throw that shit out there and y'all be like, boo, what y'all basically telling me in my mind
Is that you suck?
that I
Boo
suck.
you.
Booing me.
It's personal.
Because it's the same
You
thing.
personalized it.
And so
it's art.
so I am
I
constantly
get it.
struggling
I get it.
this need to be authentic. Because I know what joint I could play to get the party popping.
Great, you watch this, great segue. That's why I wanted to fucking beat your ass that night. And you
when
know
I
what fucking night I'm
I
talking
was
about.
so drunk.
Yo,
I was so drunk.
he was there? You was there.
No, he wasn't there.
I had a show, and Buck was lit.
I was there.
He was
you
there.
were.
Oh yeah.
Buck was lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. And here's the thing,
I knew
it
he was
wasn't
mad
on
as a motherfucker.
it wasn't ego like damn Buck shitting on B. It's like, yo, you shitting on my art.
No,
and
no,
you
no.
an artist.
I apologize
No,
for
we
that.
good. No,
I
we good on
apologize
it.
for that.
I'm only bringing it up because it's a very good example
But I
of
was
that.
thoroughly intoxicated.
And to
so let's
kind
just be
of fuck
clear.
with you about it because that was fucked up, man.
I know it's fucked up. I apologize for it.
Hey,
I just wanted to hear you say it again.
But, and this is the crazy part.
Okay.
And this is what I'm about to knock you over the head with this.
Come on.
You play best angry.
Exactly.
And when that motherfucker left that
exactly.
night, you went in, bro. You went in. Every time I've seen
Janan
you kill
said
it.
that same shit.
And
Wait,
I,
but also-
I talked to Janan about it. And we said the same thing. He was like, "Is he mad yet?" Like, cause like that's how.
Right, when he get angry, do all that other shit.
so-
But
so-
that's
so-
not why I
so-
did that. I was just drunk. My bad.
Nah, he was.
I was trying to show you
he was
love, but
being
I
a
was
dickhead.
fucked up. Yeah.
He was being Buck.
Yeah.
But here's the
But-
thing.
But
Had it not been a gig, had I not been, you know what I mean, I wouldn't have tripped. I mean, because we done all been smashed.
yeah,
You know what
like
I mean?
I know it wasn't a reflect, but I get what
Janan
you.
says the same thing. I play better angry. I don't even know what that is.
You don't. You tapping into something, bro. That you can only connect to if you open. If you open. We didn't talk enough about this shit, bro. This need and desire in us to go do a thing and we don't know where it came from, and people aren't gonna necessarily always understand when it looks different, when it's not in a box that you can label this thing or that thing. Like we have these feelings, dog. We got these images and these emotions that come to us that we've got to go do some other shit. Just not doing it would almost be like cutting a part of you off. So when you meet people, man, who are really trying, man.
Yeah. But
Motherfuckers, it would better serve humanity.
Effort is the only thing that's forgivable, bro. Effort. Like, if you fuck up trying, that's forgivable.
Yeah,
and that's why I think, not to cut you off,
Nah,
bro,
you good.
but what I hear you saying is you respect the effort. And I only jump in right there because I echo the same. Like, everybody in this room, like, respectfully, you guys have seen me at what I'll be honest to say was some of my lowest, and I've seen you guys at less than your highest, and we've all been, you know what I mean, right there. It's the effort. I ain't never seen one of y'all at y'all lowest on some pity low. It's I'm trying and I'm tired, or I'm trying and I can't figure it out, or I'm trying and I failed. So, you know what I'm saying? I respect that.
Yeah.
Because if I come to you low, it ain't because, oh man, look at me, I'm low. It's damn, yo, I'm trying and I'm tired.
Yeah.
I failed just now. And that goes back to my point. These experiences, bro, like the more, even with failure, you may not all the way 100 be cool with failure, but your relationship with failure changes the more you do it. You may not be completely armored, but you're gaining more armor the more you fight for the armor. That's why I say the experience is the currency.
And I get the analogy, and I think it's the analogy and I feel you. But it wasn't until you just said that to where I understand what you're saying. We all saying the same thing.
We are.
I think
We are. It's just that
it's choice of words.
Yeah,
man.
vulnerability.
It's vocabulary.
Because I mean, you know,
It's
he
just
got a
vocabulary.
GED, dog. His words ain't gonna be right.
Fucking GED.
His
Why
words
you-
ain't gonna be
No,
right.
he speaks as a
why is he-
Christian.
what? Oh wow.
I mean, it's real. Cause
What you got against my nigga
no,
Jesus?
I don't. But you're. But
This nigga be beefing with
No,
Jesus.
I don't.
Like, yo,
I don't at all. But what he's speaking.
This nigga
He's
right
speaking
here,
as a Christian. You say.
But
armor.
I see what
you say armor. You say armor as a Christian. You're a Christian soldier. You wear armor.
But
That's
I am a soldier.
I get what
in
you're
the
saying, but
army
that's
of
a-
the
that's a
Lord.
I
like-
wouldn't call myself a Christian.
But the language you use is you're using that language.
No,
no,
I
you
went to the
can't-
Middle
that's
East.
the
I mean, the Middle Ages. I ain't talking
But the
about
vocabulary you're using the whole time has been about armor.
because he mentioned a soldier putting on armor. That's the only
I
reason.
mean, I just
Let
but
Head ass.
everything,
So why you
everything you're saying is
Allah has soldiers
So
who
he's
put on
saying
armor
you
too.
sound like a
So wait,
Christian.
no. What he's trying to he's projecting. See, that's God tugging on you right
actually,
now.
Actually,
I'm gonna tell you why.
Actually, I'm not projected. I'm not that one, so we're good.
Muhammad
We're good on
had
that.
soldiers. They wore armor.
Why again?
Why armor gotta be Christian?
It's the way. It's the way.
He pulled me
It's the
in.
way you
You know what
spoke
he did?
into it the
He
whole
thought
time.
when he heard religion, first his thought is white man religion. He didn't think black man religion.
See, that's exactly
He's like
what you're doing.
Roman Catholic.
You got me.
You sitting over there with a bucket on, you know what I mean? You look elitist right now.
I am an elite.
You think you're better than us? This low does have flowers. Our low don't got flowers.
So
I think I'm better than everybody.
Cheers, bitch.
I want to make some space, bro, for you
What's up?
and your pops.
Okay.
And
Condolences.
Condolences
bro.
to you, man.
I didn't get to say condolences yet.
that was a part of what was in your text message. When I called you and I was like, "Yo, this is beautiful, man." And then you told me about your pops, and you know, black men, dog. Our dads, they are who they are.
And I want to be clear, just out of respect, it wasn't my biological.
So we,
Yeah, okay.
that
I ran this little smoke over.
don't cut me off for nothing silly like that again,
Damn,
dog.
my bad, son. My bad, light skinned king.
And so
What's going on?
LSK. And so our dads are who they are. They look different. They came from a different path. Whatever it is, they men in our lives who meant something, that represented the epitome of what is fly and what is flawed. Because that, you know, I might get a shirt for that. Fuck it. But my dad ain't with us. You know, big up and you know, Mr. Heron. And just wanted to. And Life's dad, Dr. Gordy, his birthday was a couple of weeks ago. We was sitting and doing one of the joints, and he was like, "Shout out to my dad, you know, today's his birthday." And I looked over and I'm like, "Nigga, you talking about personal shit? Like that ain't life, right?" And the fact that we were able to create space for his pop, man, and I wanna highlight men. I wanna big them up, man. I wanna give other men opportunities to talk about men in their lives who shaped and loved on them, man, and helped them to be the men they are. So whatever you wanna say, bro, however, you know, whatever time you need, because we wanna make sure that he's present, man, and he's being uplifted and acknowledged for the man he was in your life.
First of all, thank you for that. Because, bear with me because it's fresh. It's super fresh, but thank you for the opportunity. His name was Pastor Felix Gilbert. And the reason why forgive me for interrupting you, because he's not my biological father. I didn't have that relationship with my biological father. I always knew who he was, but just frankly, I didn't have what I learned to be the father relationship. I never had that with him. And I say respectfully because I still honor him as my biological father because that's what I'm taught. You know what I'm saying? So boom. Fast forward as an adult man, you know, thinking I know what I know, learning what I learned from where I learned it. I find myself in Denver, Colorado, and I come into contact with this man who, first of all, from the position that he was in, it was contradictory to the manner in which he introduced himself. He introduced himself with no title, not even a surname, just Felix. And then I later found out who he was, and it kind of shocked me. And that, it piqued my interest right then and there. But fast forward and to keep it, kind of brief, we began to work together, and then in the capacity, he was pastor. He gave me a position. First time I had a full-time position at a church ever. My office and all that stuff. He believed in me, and here I am. I'm coming from, Richmond, Virginia, and I'm bringing Richmond, Virginia with me. The experiences and the things that taught me, that worked there, the paradigms and all that other fuck shit. I'm bringing that with me to Colorado, and it wasn't working. And I'm running into these issues with people, personality things, not really character issues, but personality and experience issues, paradigm issues, things that can be shifted and changed if somebody cared enough to do so, and he did. You know what I mean? Just a great, great man, from the Virgin Islands, just basically pulled himself up. The first time that in my life, as even though it was at an adult age, I had someone to actually pour into me as a man, like to who was actually concerned about who I was as a man, not what I could provide for their business or for their church or for their music or, not my gifts and my talents. Like, how are you going to end up? And so, yeah, he passed away a couple weeks ago, and I'm finally transitioning through the stages of grief, and these are the things, that's why I'm so big on mental health, man, things I learned through therapy and stuff like that. I'm transitioning through the stages of grief to acceptance, where I'm grateful. Mathematically speaking, just us being in this room is a miracle. Like, there's like, you know what I'm saying, 700 billion people on Earth right now?
Not 700 billion, dog.
7 point.
Not 700 billion.
7.4, 7.5.
7.4 billion?
Yeah,
something like that, right?
600.
And it's like 100,000 sperm fighting to be each one of us, right?
Yeah.
So mathematically speaking, that's why I added the 100, my bad. The mathematically speaking, just for...
And there's only 40 million African Americans, baby.
So do some more math, you feel me? So my 100,000 sperm fought to be me, and your 100,000 and your 100,000 fought, and we all in this room. So I said that to say, I'm transitioning to look at it as, my sperm came together and his sperm came together, blah, blah, blah. Fuck y'all. Just for him being in my life. I don't even want to with it.
Shout out. I see where you were going.
And I'm glad that laugh.
That's dope, though. So you're just saying that.
You understand what I'm saying?
Nah, man, that ain't dope, dog. He just talking about two dudes sperm touching. That's dope. I can't let you. We don't.
No, I was trying to find a way out of it for him.
You know what I mean?
No, I was trying to find a way out of it for him.
Nah, that's cool.
I get where he was going with it.
Dope.
That's dope, my nigga.
Nah, I'm over here trying not to, trying to be, you know what I mean? But yeah,
two dudes sperm touching and made you.
My point is, I'm transitioning from the grief of, missing them and the loss, because, that was somebody that, I could call for anything, and, my deepest, darkest secrets, like anything, I wouldn't mumble to my, niggas or whatever. He would never judge me,
That's dope.
Walk me through it, and, he was a Christian, he was a pastor, and he was a praying man. Like, one of the biggest things I remember about him, well, a couple of biggest things, like, one of his famous phrases was, I don't struggle with that. Like, anything I would tell him, like, I'd be like, yo, Pop, I fucked up, I did X, Y, Z. Yo, I don't struggle with that. Let's talk through it. Like, he, you know what I'm saying? And so, and
I
then
like that.
Yeah, that's hard, right?
That chick me, in my mind, I'm hearing two different, I don't struggle with that. Like, I don't struggle with that, like, nigga, that's light work. Or
and his thing was, I don't struggle with it because I know God don't struggle with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know the Creator don't, you know what I mean? The name of his church is Restoration Christian Fellowship, because he was all about restoring people because he failed in his life.
Yeah.
He made some mistakes in his life. So his whole thing was like, your failures don't define you. And that, you know what I'm saying? So that was the first time I had anybody in my life that, you know what I mean, a man that held me down in that manner. So yeah, I'm kind of slightly past the point of like just missing him and being sorry that he's not here, to the point of just being grateful that he was, and now I'm just trying to figure out, what to do with what he did teach me. You know what I'm saying? So
hold on real quick. This nigga was like,
shit,
you making noise, dog?
Man, you fucking 5-year-old.
He produced it. It was a mistake, dog.
I needed
well,
that.
Shout out
to
Pastor Gilbert,
Pastor Felix Gilbert, man. Shout out to him.
His family, man, and sounds like he left a hell of a mark on you, bro.
And shout out to the entire Gilbert family, Pastor Katani, Gerald, Eddie, Veronica, and the whole family.
And I grew up in the church, right? And so I understand some of the things that we say and how we say it don't necessarily vibe or line. And I'm sure some of our podcasts even turn people off just how I talk and all of that, man. But a part of this shit, in my mind, is just human beings being okay with who they are and accepting who they are, not trying to fit in and adjust this. And if motherfuckers as fly as we are, as authentic as we are in a lot of instances, and still, embracing and managing all the other shit, if we can't get online and just expose this shit, and for me, like we say, fuck up the algorithm, bro.
Got to.
If you let that motherfucker feed you, you will be eating McDonald's.
I like that.
And all kind of other wild
algorithm
shit.
feed you. Because that's what it's doing, it's feeding them.
Just feeding us patterns, bro, to reproduce. And so,
Ooh.
oh
shit.
I'm fucking up the algorithm. We fucking up the algorithm. I appreciate y'all just being solid men, dog, and just as individuals. And then when we get together, we make some beautiful shit, man.
Like 2 sperm.
Touching each other.
Yay!
Because that's what I said, right? I hate you niggas, man. Why I put myself through this shit?
Hey, B, that is what you said.
Out of 700 billion sperm in the world.
Right. Out of 7 billion sperms, 2 male sperms touch.
700 billion.
Hey, man, where my mirror mask at? I'm about to put my mask
700
back
billion
on.
sperms.
Oh man, that's the
2
funniest
male
shit ever.
sperms touched and made me. That's gonna be on your head. That's gonna be on your
You
head.
said that
bro.
shit,
It's not what I said,
That's
man.
gonna be on your head.
Carry on, man. Carry on, man.
I was listening.
Carry
I was
on.
being real
With your-
quiet
with your-
listening to it. I was like,
Your flower low,
ugh.
bucket head. Bucket low like
I don't know where you're
going.
going with this beat. This is
Anyway, nigga, we heard
So,
you. Shit.
A part of our
Fucking asshole.
fucking our transition.
Yo, I be having fun. I'm sorry.
How you getting out of that?
My brain is doing. My brain be doing 20 different things.
Asshole.
So
yeah.
Buck,
It's 5.
I call him the Black Walter Matthau.
I'm the
He
Black
is a
Walter.
grumpy motherfucker.
I am grumpy.
He is a great. He's
Grumpy.
Walter
He's
Matt. You are one.
And you know another word I use for him. Another word I use for
I
him.
like that shit.
Curmudgeon.
I'm a grudge. No.
He's
That's
surly.
You know, it's like,
He's-
oh, my homegirls never call me curmudgeon. It's funny, like, yeah, that's an old school term
you
for me.
supposed
I mean, it fits. It fits.
Curmudgeon.
Go ahead with the rest of your thoughts.
I'm sorry, that killed me.
apologize.
You are curmudgeon as fuck. And surly.
Cantankerous.
Cantankerous. But loving and big-hearted.
I am.
How
To
y'all?
gang. To gang, he's loving and big-hearted.
What you talking about?
Him. No, Buck has been, no, I ain't gonna let y'all do that. 'Cause,
Buck is what?
See, this that toxic
Hold on.
masculinity.
What'd you say he is?
Buck is big-hearted. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We doing this. Never mind. Continue on. So how you do this? You got sleepers on your podcast? How you end your shit? You got sleepers like Joe? How you do yours?
Bro.
Nope.
There's nothing on this nigga that says, what'd you call him?
Big-hearted. Nothing.
My bad. I'm snitching.
Hey, dude. Buck is recording this motherfucker right now and selling it out the trunk of his cash app.
I am.
He,
I am.
mean,
Literally.
That's not small-hearted.
There's 10 more recording devices in here going off right now.
It's narrow-hearted.
As I
Narrow
turn my
hearted.
recorder off.
Nah, he's
Like shit. The jig is up, Buck. Turn it off.
Oh no.
How
Stop
y'all
Oh no.
how y'all feel about the conversation, man? I don't think I've ever had
It was
two
great
brothers.
for me.
You know, well, this is our first joint. You know, having cats
great.
on and shit, guests.
It was great.
How'd y'all feel? Because I'm setting. Let me set it up. Our very first episode was the process is the product.
Ooh.
This podcast is not what you click on
Right.
YouTube. It's all of the shit that is in between that. And so we are trying to be as transparent as possible. When we fucking up, when we don't have clear thoughts, when we contradicting ourselves, all of that shit is real time.
Watch
And
this,
why
that's
we
experience.
allowing everybody, why we allowing people, because that's
My bad.
the truth. And so we wanna invite. So the reason why I'm asking like how y'all feel or what y'all think some things are we could be doing differently or better. I want that exposed and share whatever it is that y'all wanted to share.
I think you need a little. I mean, for me right now, I'm sitting here and I'm giggling. I'm giggling. I'm having fun, but I'm trying to. I feel like me personally, I try to take a little bit more time and be patient and listen. It's not like when we just sitting around drinking and talking shit in front of each other, because we're in front of because other people are watching this, and we've had conversations about this kind of stuff before, where it's like, I know that others are consuming our information, whether one wants to believe that what they say affects others or not is is to me that's I don't believe that. I believe everything we do and say does affect, right? Mm-hmm. So if you go back and look at this later on, you'd be like, this nigga's looking around crazy. But what I'm trying to do is listen to y'all. And so I'm giggling, having fun, but I'm listening. I really want to hear y'all. So I just feel like, and I've watched the podcast or two of TuneTheFork, and what I've watched is because when it's just you in life, there's a lot more space allowed. But I think when you have three people, because I've tried to do this before, that space narrows. But then it's also how you're talking to each other and what you're talking about and the space you're in at that point in time.
Do you feel the conversation moved naturally, or we could have opened up on certain things?
I mean, I think you still have. I mean, is time up or something?
Well, I kind of disagree with what.
Well, I'm just. I mean, we can keep going. I'm just.
No. Can I add another counterpoint? Counterpoint.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know he asked a question.
Yeah, no. This is a dialogue, and I think you have to give each other time to talk and respond. You know what I'm saying? And I think we are. I am trying to listen to y'all and have fun at the same time, and I think y'all are listening also. But I think you gotta give a little bit of space for people to listen and then to respond. Like I really like the amount of information I've been taking in over the last few years, you know, and then just in exposure and in experience, things we were talking about, lends to I feel like we can be a little bit more in depth on the things that we talk about. Like I feel like, you know, so to a certain degree, we still hitting surface. But the surface is fine. Because what we're saying is, so in the same breath, you know, I've been saying like, you know, I either say chop the tree or always forward, right? And my thing with always forward is it don't matter. This is just, nigga, it's always practice. If even when you're in the game, it's practice until it's practice for the next game. Yeah. It's practice for that. It's practice for, you know, it's practice for your next moment in life. So how you perform in that game tonight is how you can perform in life later on. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you step to the next thing you step to? So I think it's good, man. I appreciate it, man. We sitting here, we vibing. It's three different energies, three different people.
I know you want to just, I hadn't thought about the space being cut up with the third energy.
Yeah.
But you saying that, I don't necessarily, I understand that and feel that now too.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I would have connected with if by just not doing it. So again, the process, because I do understand, but I do think that given the feedback and what we were doing, I thought we were kind of connecting on certain topics.
We're
to the degree that we could without sitting at one spot necessarily.
Yeah, but it's not a negative. So
no, I'm not saying I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. Okay. I'm not saying it's a negative. I'm just because I asked because I think no matter what the fuck you say, as slight as it is beneficial.
Powerful
I might
shit.
not understand
it.
Like
powerful shit.
Yeah, like dude, and sometimes this shit don't come around. But go ahead, B.
Yeah, it just as a point and counterpoint. I kind of think so. At the end of the day, a podcast, regardless of its intention, is at its core content. And I only make that statement because, in my experience, again, because that's what I value. That's the currency here in everything I've been talking about. In my experience, when you accept that whatever you're putting out, regardless of your intentions, comes out as first content, I've learned that people gravitate towards your word authenticity. So to kind of counterpoint to Buck's point, when we are together in the bar, that's when we are our most authentic self. Now, it's the same magic happening. Yeah. It may be a little, more crosstalk than in your produced podcast or in your produced, your more produced, I'll say, products. But the magic is still there because of the minds that are present. And this is my opinion and my counterpoint. So to that point, I think however many pieces you have, 3 or more, or however many, as long as now, of course, the more you get, the more difficult it becomes to do what I'm about to say. Yeah. However many you have, as long as the respect is there,
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a certain amount of crosstalk that's natural amongst friends.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think
just-
the more
that's
natural,
people in general. I
Yeah.
think when you have more than 2 people, there's gonna be.
but it becomes more natural in friends because I've been in
Yeah, I think so.
situations where
Yeah,
I've conducted myself like I'm with Buck and with
Right.
James.
So you feel more comfortable.
And somebody else take offense.
And I don't like, because a lot of the shit is how you feel when a motherfucker say some shit. Like if you come, if I look over at you and I'm like, hold on, I might respond back to you just to let you know subconsciously that you can't treat me like, I mean.
My point is, either
Like when
way,
you did
that's
the point
authentic.
thing. You did the point thing to me. I had
like,
to take it in for a
motherfucker,
minute.
stop.
I was like,
He was like, did you see him? We got it on tape. He was like, I'm sorry.
And that's what
how'd I do that shit? I'm sorry. He just
Go ahead,
nigga
man.
just tried to
Stop.
bitch me like shit on the
nigga's like,
motherfucker. Yeah. Oh.
tucked his head, yo. Now, my point is authenticity is, and that's why I loved what you were asking, is authenticity and vulnerability. Authenticity is the ultimate currency because people, whether they realize it or not, they gravitate towards authenticity. Well, they gravitate towards authenticity. The why is because they secretly want to be authentic too. So they gravitate towards people who have the courage or whatever the fuck they have enough to be authentic. So that's the only reason I add that
I don't know if
counterpoint.
that's actually true. Have y'all
That's
seen
actually
social
true.
media?
No, wait,
No.
no, wait. And I'm gonna give you an example.
Go ahead, bro.
Say what you want to say about Mr. Joseph Button, but that is a man who has accepted, I am who I am, fly and flawed. He has been through every single scandal publicly you can go through, and he answers them all publicly on a podcast that has millions of people listening. Why do they keep listening? Because they know no matter what, you're still gonna get Joe.
I don't know about all that.
That's a fact.
because-
That's a fact.
because
And he's
I
not the
hear
only
y'all.
one. Joe Rogan. Button is not the only one.
But Joe
Rogan's a dickhead, bro, but he has millions.
But that's, I don't think
Edit
it's,
that.
but that's, I
Joe
don't,
got money. I don't want him to fuck me up. I fuck Joe. You ain't gotta do that shit.
I don't think that's all. I don't think that's all true authenticity. I think that's when you start to get to the point where, like, because that's why I say mention social media. You're on social media, podcasts, all of this stuff. You can say you're being authentic, and people will be like, "Yo, that's authentic." That doesn't mean that's actually really authentic.
Gravitating towards something is
Consistency
different
shows you
than saying
authenticity.
what's readily available.
that's
or
called-
what's
'cause
easily.
consistency-
So
You can be
authentic-
consistently fake though.
But hold on. But the ease of consumption is a part of it too. So if the majority of your sphere is fake shit and you have to go work for authenticity, there's going to be less of that to consume. So it's like when you sit down and you have a conversation with somebody, bro. The first motherfucker who owns they shit is going to give the other motherfuckers permission to own theirs.
That's
It's
real.
like when you sit down and you have a conversation, and 4 or 5 dudes could be sitting down, and then next thing you know, you hear one dude say, "Yeah, I cheated on my wife, man, and she forgave me." And then another dude be like, they sit there and listen to you talk and see your vibe, what is motherfucker, and next thing you know, you got somebody else sharing something that's.
But that's not always. But that's not authenticity.
It's whatever.
It's absolutely
it's
if it's
whatever.
real,
It's not.
it's-
That's control.
If it's really what happened,
Yeah,
if
how
you really
does
what
that
you
control?
experienced,
Yeah, like if I'm
it's
if I'm
authenticity.
walking into a space, bro, am I trying to control people just by saying, "Hey, man, I'm flawed"?
Some people are.
But say now I'm not talking about some
Now
people.
you're talking about
I'm talking about.
intent.
I'm not. I can't.
That's
the
different.
only person's intent
Not.
I can guarantee is my own.
Facts.
So everything else.
But then
Only
what you're
different.
also talking about, you're also talking about human beings being followers. Giving
No,
the
but
op-
hold on, we're going
giving
back to the
opportunity-
authenticity.
Where was this
Wait a
nigga
minute.
at 30 minutes
But
ago
hold
with
on,
this
bro.
shit? Like, this
Bro.
is the good part.
But
I
hold
want
on,
this buck,
time
the
out.
bar
The
buck.
authenticity.
Couch buck ass nigga. Couch buck, that was good. Give me points for that. I can't get no points? My nigga. Go ahead. I'm sorry, you lost it. I'm sorry.
No,
Couch buck, that was good.
I'm enjoying myself.
I got.
I'm sorry, man.
No, don't
'Cause
apologize. No, it was
this.
me.
I like this, like, you know what I mean? Because I get, so the nights that, so
How
some of
can
the
I
nights you're
tell you-
speaking of, I get some of my greatest thoughts from trying to, like,
But we have different. No, but
break my thoughts
hold on,
down.
our bar conversations are different than most people's bar conversations because we sit down and we
So
have
back to my
actual-
point that the people want to see that. That's content. Now
that's
watch
not-
this. Now back to my original point. If once you accept that what I'm putting out is content, if that's what gets you here, cool. I'm gonna chop this shit up and show you the clips of B and Buck arguing because I know you weak-minded niggas like to see arguing. If that's what gets you here. And then once you there, if you actually learn something from the dialogue and the banter, then my intention. But that goes back to my original point. Accept that it's only content and give them the authenticity.
But hold on.
Our authenticity.
So hold on. Let me. Cause this is not content.
You understand my point?
He's not. He's
Whether
not
you
gonna-
want it to be.
Hold on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
People can call it whatever they want because I can't control what other motherfuckers do.
Okay, good. Great place to start.
But what I can do is say what I'm gonna say it is.
This is intent.
So
That's intent. That's not. So watch this. It's a gun, whether I'm using it as a murder weapon or a hunting tool. It's a gun.
I get what you're saying. You're right. I want to make sure.
So
we're
it is
clear.
content.
You're right.
It's content, James.
I'm saying what I call it something else.
But that's why that's why we fuck up as artists, my guy.
Come out. Are you an asshole or are you a dickhead?
I am an asshole, not a dickhead.
So I might think you a dickhead.
You're wrong. And that's fine. You can be wrong.
I'm wrong to you.
This is just weird, right?
I can let you be
So-
wrong.
Okay, so here's my point.
That's grace. I can give you time. But watch this over time. You're gonna figure out.
This thing can be two things in my mind. My reality is based on which one I focus on. Is what I'm saying.
Or your level of information. That's what I was gonna say. So two things can happen. You can have an experience with something and that experience be contrary to the information you have and it changes your mind, or you can get new information. And you'll find out I'm not a dickhead, I'm an asshole. I was wrong about B. He's not a dickhead, he's an asshole.
And here's
you'll
the thing.
say it. I won't have to say a thing.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. So I understand what you're saying. Me even trying to do that.
Because a dickhead is like, man, fuck you.
Would absolutely be pointless. And so a part of what we are doing, trying to do, honestly, is fuck up the algorithm.
Yep.
And so a part of fucking up the algorithm means looking real fucking weird for a long time.
I get. So yeah, I get. I was
How you
about
gonna
to
fuck up the algorithm from outside the algorithm, James?
So
I get what you're.
You
I
fuck
get
up
what
the
you're doing.
algorithm
I was peeping out. I'm peeping out what you're doing. I get it.
But you gotta be the spook by the door.
No. You
how
don't.
we do it is just as it. How we do it is why we do it. Because
how we do it is How we do it is why we do it. I disagree.
I don't know if I get that.
1000%.
people. So
But
how
I got
we,
that.
So,
I got
so
that.
disagree
Disagree
with that
our
1000%. Because the how is by any means necessary, is it not?
No,
Whoa.
nigga. I define the how. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
Yeah.
How we do it is why we do it. The how is the work. The how is the process.
Right.
So that is why we do it. We're not doing it for an end result. We're
Right.
doing it for the how. And for me, the how
That's cool.
Okay.
I
is
get it.
seeing fly motherfuckers, bro.
Okay.
Real, authentic motherfucking black men
Okay.
do this shit in a way without and can be successful and can be loving and can be encouraging and can win
Let me ask a question.
in a whole new motherfucking way.
Right.
And that way is the how that makes the shit exist.
All right. Let me ask a question.
Please.
If you had another how that could accomplish everything you just said on a grander scale, would you take advantage of it? If you
Yes.
okay.
So
that's all I'm
so
saying.
hold on because
fair
again
enough.
the how is a composition of things, right?
Man,
And I asked that question.
I
because-
literally.
hold on, let me finish. Please let me finish.
You about to buy into a pyramid scheme right now.
No, I'm not. Yo, let me finish. Hold on. I only asked that question because.
No, I wouldn't. No, I
Wow,
would
here we
not
go.
say that.
If I can show you a better way.
I'm out, man. What time you said you had to go, nigga? What were we doing?
You ain't going nowhere, nigga. Come on. What the fuck? He does this. This is what he does. He has to do this.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to be right, bro.
I
I just want to be better.
No. I'm not about to. I'm
just
fucking with him. I asked that question because all I'm communicating to you is a knowledge of how to do, to like, it's the difference between catching 10 and 100. Like, yes, I'm not changing the why.
So for me, I want the 10. The
Even
100
if you knew that you could get 100,
So-
you would still just be content with the 10. And that's I'm just asking the question because I
So-
want to make
so-
I want to make sure I'm hearing.
So that number rep is a concept for me, meaning
Bro, numbers is, that's why I
No,
love
no,
numbers.
no,
Numbers
no.
are not
I'm
a
talking
concept.
about. I'm talking
numbers
about
are a quantity.
The number is a concept that represents a percentage.
It's a quantity. I'm asking you a quantitative question here.
So when you
If
say
you-
32, what is 32?
Hold on,
32%.
no, James. No. See, no.
I'm trying to explain to you what it means to me, and you trying to explain to me what it means to you. And
Because
it's gonna
I'm asking the question.
So
I need you to
I'm
know what
trying
the
to
question.
translate my answer.
But that's why it's kind of like we all got to spend a little bit more time listening. That's
So-
why I'm saying that it needs a little bit more space. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if we listen to each other a little bit more before we
So the
respond.
10
That's
so
what I'm
the
saying.
Don't
10
shape the experience. That's
But-
what I'm
but
saying.
hold
That's
on.
my counterpoint. Let the experience be what it is.
10
You know
or
what
the
I'm saying?
100, and I think this is an important point. The 10 or the 100 represents a percentage of a larger number to me. So when you say get 10 or get 100, what I'm hearing you say is, James, would you rather take a percentage?
Okay.
So 100%, when you're saying 10, I know that doesn't mean 100%.
Okay, so let me.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I do, because that's totally not what I'm saying. So let me say it again, in a different way. If I have 100 things here,
What does that 100
hold on.
represent?
Regardless of you make it, what it doesn't matter because it's not a percentage. I'm not talking about percentage. I'm talking about quantitative numbers. We accept that 10 is less than 100, correct?
Yeah,
On a
100%.
quantitative level.
Yep.
Okay. So on that level, in that level alone, I'm asking you,
Okay.
if you knew that you could get 100, would you just
Doing the exact same thing? Yes.
doing the exact same thing and adding more information?
But
like
what,
if you knew,
but
like if
doing
there
what
was,
you want to do.
Yeah.
and
doing
then
the-
you're
doing-
still going to be doing. It's not going to change
Because
anything.
even when you ask that number, so yes, if everything is equal with the exception of the quantitative number. But when you're asking me that, in my mind, I'm thinking about what things would have to change
So it
for
would-
me to get that to
it-
that 100,
it
and I'm
wouldn't be
saying
what
that
you-
depends.
It would not be what you're doing.
no, it wouldn't.
It automatically is not what you're doing.
Then I wouldn't do it.
Because you're changing.
No,
you
no,
already
you're not
used the
changing
word
what you're
change.
doing.
The word
No.
change is the word change is already incorporated.
We've grown.
In order for you to do this, you would have to do this, which is not what you already do.
But that's not what he asked.
No, because here's the thing. We've gone way left off the connotation and emotional attachment to the word content.
There's no emotion.
Hold on, Buck. I'm really talking specifically to James right now, because when I use the word content, respectfully, there was an emotional attachment to that word.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm not judging it or whatever. I'm just using that to say, here we are off in the weeds on this thing. Simply because all I'm saying is, to my counterpoint to staying authentic in the interaction. And watch this. We're being authentic in the interaction right now, which, watch this, is great content.
So listen.
Which someone else can still get to James's point.
So when you say when you say content,
It's not a negative thing.
but see, I took it that. So it's like if somebody
That's what I'm
says,
saying.
because to me it's more, and it's like somebody.
It is more.
So and that's why I was saying I don't even want to go through explaining it, and we moved on. I get what you're saying, but to
right.
me it's more than that. I would
is.
never call it that. So when you said what it is, I felt I had a reaction to it because I see it more. Kind of like if someone was trying to reduce something that you did down to something that's smaller. Is it that in a broad context?
No, it's not smaller.
No. I'm saying, don't want to get caught up in that. I'm saying it's something different.
No, I'm
that reduces what you feel the thing is. So content to me, like what Kim Kardashian and them do or whatever, I'm just throwing names out, is content. I don't see my stuff as, I don't see this as that. I see this as like a religion.
It is.
I see this as like a way of a lifestyle.
Let me break down the word content. It simply means that it's contained.
I
in
know,
a,
but that's what I'm saying. It was the negative that
connotation
I had.
on it.
Yeah, but it is content in the. But that's.
But no, I wanted to. What I was going to say is the reason why I even brought that up is because when you accept that, you begin to understand that the fish that I'm fishing for are fishing for content. I can sneak this shit to them if I put this out there amongst the content. If I accept that ultimately that's what this is.
And the sneaking.
That's the only reason I brought that up.
And that's the part I think
And
you
it's
were
not
saying.
even really sneaking.
Even
I don't like that word.
And
I'm sorry.
there might be another
That's a bad
word.
word.
Like there is something very direct.
I don't know. It's just literally once you're not doing it the way you want to do it, you're doing something somebody else's way. You're not doing what you intend to do.
I agree with that.
Something different.
Yeah,
that's all. That's all I'm saying.
And a part of maintaining that piece of it is what I think. I'm not saying things can't evolve, right? I'm not saying other elements can't be added. I haven't thought of everything. Shit, this is 23 episodes in. You got motherfuckers doing 1,000, 1,500 and still learning new shit, right? So I'm definitely clear on the fact that I don't know a hell of a lot more than I know. But my why is actually driving everything with an understanding that that why is going to narrow from what my lens can see today. It might expand in the future, but for right now, that's what
I'm smiling, bro, because it's full circle. Because for me personally, it has changed according to and with relation to my level of vulnerability. So right, for me, it became a question of I want to reach as many as I can. And it's a real question, and it's not a negative or a positive thing. Do you want to reach 100 or do you want to reach 1,000? Well, there's a decision involved and a method and a how involved in each decision. Okay, so a lot of times we choose 100 because we have this fear of that 1,000. You've heard the old adage, our greatest fear is not that we succeed, and that we'll fail, is that we'll succeed, and blah, 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 blah. So personally, I had what I now know to be called imposter syndrome. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna shoot for this. I had all these reasons. It was like, well, no, I'm gonna keep it, blah, blah, blah. So the point I'm getting to, the level of vulnerabilities is like, okay, how much of myself do I really lose, of myself and of what my intentions, my heart and my goal and what I'm really here for, my purpose, do I really lose if I just do that? How much of it, let's be real. I ask myself these questions, and I begin to realize, bro, that's just a uniform I put on. You know what I mean? I take that shit off.
And I think that point to what you're saying, you're connected to your why. There's a specific why that you have that may not necessarily be as tied to your house. And so
wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
Your why might not be as connected to your house as mine are, because especially if your why isn't, especially if a portion of your why isn't defined by your how.
So that depends on the individual.
Because like if my why, like if I wanted to, it's like saying, do I want to DJ, right? Do I want to DJ for 1,000 people, or do I want to DJ for 100? Would I rather DJ for 1,000 people playing music that I do not like or that I kind of like okay? Or would I rather go play for 100 motherfuckers and do my shit the way I want to do it?
Okay.
And
and
because that's my thing. I'd rather do the 100 over the 1,000.
No, my why is independent of my how. So say that they're equal.
I
want to do it the same way. I want to be James. Do I want to be James in front of 100? Or do I want, whatever that means for James. If that means James is doing it the ill shit and thinking through his mind, through the music, and through the records and all that, or he just a corny DJ or whatever, which will never be. You know what I'm saying? James. Does James, being James, want to be James in front of 100, or does James want to be James in front of 1,000? So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm saying that those things being equal.
Yeah. I do. If I can beat $100 James for the $1,000 experience, yeah, all day.
Okay.
Oh yeah, bro. I feel like there's healing in this shit, bro. There's love. There's connection. There's grace. There's love. There's all kind of shit tied in to people seeing people like us talk the way we talk. That's just as fucking important for me.
That was my entire point, my counterpoint.
How we talk is just as important. This
hit the air horns. This shit
would not be the same, bro, if we were sitting back.
I'm being 6 years old. He's 5. I'm 6.
I think we have to take our time and.
Oh, now he mature.
I'm trying to get. Listen, I'm trying to get us to be able to say this shit, and of course we're working through it, right? But I feel like we spent 20 minutes on something if we sat and spoke.
That's what editing
take our
is
time
for.
speaking on it. No, it's not about editing. It's about like if we take
Nah,
our time
we ain't
speaking
editing
on
nothing.
it. Right. He's
No,
not, I know he's not editing anything.
Joe Rogan, Button, all them
Bro,
niggas,
I'm
they
not worried about
podcast.
fuck
No,
them
I'm
niggas,
making
man.
a point. Their
Let me make
podcasts
this,
are
but you been
3
speaking
hours
the whole time.
long.
Hold up. Let me
So-
speak. Let me speak.
We
dog.
at what?
Let me go ahead and speak. What I'm saying is if you get the time to go ahead, if you take your time speaking about what you're trying to say and you get to work through it while you're saying it, then you can get that out. We spent 30 minutes just now on something that was right there, but instead of taking the time and speaking
You
through
impatient,
it.
Buck. That's all that is.
I wasn't even being impatient. I'm
You
sitting
are.
I'm sitting there listening the whole
Hold
time.
on for a second, bro. You can't sit over there
I'm sitting there
scared to
listening to
take
y'all the whole
wheel,
time.
Get this
judging
nigga right
motherfuckers
now.
who's driving the car.
Who's
I'm
saying
having a
I'm
smoke
scared to
break,
take the
man.
wheel?
I
Y'all
don't know
niggas,
what your
y'all
problem
niggas
is
talking
right
over
now,
niggas the whole
man.
time.
You acting like Uncle
I'm sitting
Buck
here
right
like,
now,
yo,
man.
I'm
What's
sitting there
up?
listening to y'all.
What's up with your man?
The
yo?
nigga just did not
why
speak
don't you-
through what he wanted to say the whole time.
Maybe-
If y'all saying the same
He
thing,
got somewhere to go. That's what it
listen.
is.
No, it's not even that.
This nigga.
So hold on.
It's not even that.
Give-
This is listening. Like if you listen and then speak. If you spoke through it.
So this is a part of that naturality stuff.
You want to get there faster.
No.
So what's wrong
That's
with
not
taking
about,
the time we
That's not
took to
about.
get where
That's
we
not
got?
about
Excuse
moving
me, bro, I'm
faster.
sorry.
I didn't say fast.
I know,
said
but that's what he
No,
just
I
that's
said
what he
that.
just
I'm
said.
picking. I'm asking
What I'm
him.
saying is, if you take your time, you get there the same amount of time as you spend the same time spinning wheels. Like we were spinning wheels just now.
You think we were spinning wheels?
Yeah,
we
we
was spinning
were.
wheel. We
It
spinning
was
wheel.
like it was right there, but it was like if
So man, why don't you say something?
because y'all was talking.
Man, shut up.
No, seriously.
There's no way.
Seriously, if you gonna go back and look at this, you be like, oh y'all, yeah, we were speaking.
I know we were.
Right, but the whole time,
you could have been like,
the
yo,
whole time was not the.
You could have been like,
No.
yo, we right there.
I'm not gonna speak
You're not
over
gonna
y'all.
contribute.
No,
you just gonna critique.
I'm sitting there contributing the whole time.
Not you not
Hey, yo,
about to.
James, that was a bar. You're not gonna contribute. You just gonna critique. You a referee. You ain't no
Bro,
player.
so you gonna sit there and watch us fumble and then be like, y'all fumble.
Because he kept being like, hold on. Instead of being like, okay, I hear you, dog. That's exactly what happened. So the whole thing is like, and I'm not critiquing the critique is not to keep us from working. The critique is to move us along. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of time people don't look at the critique the right way.
Understood.
There's a difference between a critique and a critic.
Man.
Those are two different things.
I get it. All I'm saying, bro, is you gotta say something. If
There
it's something,
was no room to say anything,
you ain't
bro.
never not spoke when you wanted to speak.
Bruh, there was no room to speak.
You
within that.
ain't never not spoke when you
There
wanted to
was
speak.
no room to speak in there. There was no room.
All right.
There was
Yo,
no
he's scared of
room.
the cameras, yo. He camera shy. This nigga acting different, bro. I don't know what's up with him.
Man,
I'm
he
not
start
scared.
He started off joking, and now he wasn't. So maybe we needed to. So to your point, because again, like this is the first time. Like I just been sitting down with life for these joints,
Right.
And then getting two separate energies. I like the energy. I felt like the balance between, the humor and that piece was cool because I was actually kind of not concerned, but I just thought maybe the transitions between some of those, especially given the fact that some of the topics that we be talking about is kind of sensitive.
Man, like it is, but there's a lot more time. We look at you in life. There's a lot more time for y'all to each do your thing, do his thing, and then y'all interact. But it's more like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You each get your own little spot. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting, man. It's cool. I like to cause some trouble anyway. So this is fine. It's just us talking.
God bless, bro.
I even like this. I think I think this is good content.
You ain't gonna keep calling my shit content.
Your shit is
bro.
content, B.
It's just so fucking
If
hilarious.
this will get some deadhead ass nigga to listen and find out all the shit we said, so be it. And you gotta be okay with that, bro. You a fisherman, man. You don't eat worms. The fish you catch and do, nigga. Think.
Yeah, he eats worms.
Come
too.
on, cuz. You eat worms? You don't eat worms, but you fish with them, don't you? You eat fish. Come on, cuz. It's checkers. You playing checkers? When you playing checkers?
Seriously?
Hey,
Are y'all not
you
seeing
talking checkers to me right
level
now?
of
What is going on?
Look like this dude from the X Clan.
Oh, here we go.
He
Talking about,
got-
See,
now
hey,
talking about all
hey.
the Christian vocabulary being used, all the things, all the analogies to Christianity
Oh
being
my
used.
God,
Hey,
now I'm Christian
nigga said
because I
fish,
fish.
fish.
I actually fish.
Yo,
Buck.
he said like 3 or 4 of them. Like the whole time, I was like, Come on, dog.
Where you can find me worms in the Bible, nigga?
So
Anybody talking about worms?
So this is
like saying fish. You want to go to church.
I love these brothers.
You need to go to church.
Peep this.
Man,
Peep this.
Nobody say nothing about church.
Peep
nigga.
this. Can I? My
bad.
Give me a,
Order
give
in
me
the
a-
pod. Order
give
in
me
the
a,
pod. My
give
bad.
me a moment, please. A large part of this conversation was about the article I read from B called, not called, but in it discussed him managing his vulnerability. And the reality is we all manage vulnerabilities in different ways, and that shit shows up in extremely different ways. These two niggas giggling is a way managing vulnerability shows up. We laugh behind it. We poke each other sometimes behind it to try to hide behind feeling a certain way. There's a lot of things, there are a lot of ways that men manage their vulnerability around other men. And it's not a sign of weakness when we do that. And we're not better or worse than another person because we can do it better or worse than them. We all just doing the best that we can, to your point with the toolbox, bro. Yeah. And some of us are better acquainted with the shit in our toolbox than others. Some of us got more tools in our toolbox than others. And rather than sit back and try to figure out or count how many more we got than somebody else, go help a motherfucker make some shit for his box, man. And I really appreciate you, brothers, man. I do, more than anything. I hope to have you guys back on the podcast at some point in time again, man. We're going to continue to create together, man, to support one another.
Wait, is this over now?
And to be, listen, y'all won't stop talking.
You keep wrapping shit up.
And I'm...
They keep wrapping shit up. Let me wrap it up 5 minutes. I'm glad you guys came on. We gotta go, nigga.
Let's let them rap.
No.
Let's let them rap.
I'm glad y'all came out today.
I am a consummate salespeople. You always leave motherfuckers wanting more.
Oh, look at him.
And with that,
he's a people.
Thank y'all for watching.